Thank you, Ian, and thank you for having us here today. We appreciate it a lot. My name is Claus Hansen, and I am the founder and chairman of OmniCar. And before I kick off the presentation together with Mikkel, I just want to tell you about how I came onto this idea about OmniCar service. During the COVID pandemic, I was one night watching CNBC, and I saw an interview with a guy called Ed Peterson. Ed Peterson, he founded a company called wrench.com 3 years prior to that. And he had an ambition that he wanted to disrupt the industry for car service. And just a few days before that, I have had my car for service myself. So I was paying attention to what he was saying. And what he had done was extremely simple. Basically, he had equipped mobile vans as workshop. So instead of you bringing your car to the workshop, he will bring the workshop to the car owner. So the car owner could have his car serviced at his driveway or at his workplace or wherever he wanted to have that convenience of the car service. So I said to myself, this is a great idea. Is there anything like this in Scandinavia? And my research discovered that there was nothing like this. So I said to myself, this is what we are going to do as well here in Denmark. So with those words, I would like to hand over the start of the presentation to our CEO, Mikkel Christensen.
Good. Thank you, Claus. Thanks for the introduction. And thank you for being here today, Ian. My name is Mikkel, and I'm the CEO of the company. So today we will show you how we came from basically knowing nothing about the automotive industry to creating an end-to-end mobile car service provider and an online platform for selling your electric vehicle. If you go to next place, next.
I'm trying. Yeah.
Yes. You can see that in less than 2 years, we have not only created the products which we're offering today, but we have done it by reaching the highest customer satisfaction in the Danish car service industry. So what comes next? We want to scale it across the Scandinavian market. But if we start with the basics, what we are working within is the automotive industry. We do it today in Denmark, where we are operating in all of Denmark, not only Copenhagen, but all of Denmark. But the company have the focus on the Scandinavian market, where we also will go out shortly. Our products today consist of 15 mobile workshops and an online platform for selling electric vehicles online. We are listed on the stock exchange called Spotlight Stock Market in Sweden. We plan to do a dual listing on the OTC market in next quarter this year. And we currently have a market cap of 9.5 million. Our ticker code is simply Omni. And just for your information, our insider holds approximately 30% of the outstanding shares. Recently, the management board and US invested approximately $2 million in the company. Our mission in the company is quite simple. We want to be the convenient car partner for life. If you want to be the convenient car partner for life, it's important that you basically is covering the whole life cycle of owning a car. What we started with was transforming the way people is servicing their car. And this is what Claus will explain you right now, how we did so.
Yes, as I told in my introduction, this car service is a very traditional kind of business. Mostly it's done by people bringing their car to the workshop. They have to go through the hassle and struggle of driving through the rush hour to be at the workshop in the morning. They have to get a rental car, and then in the afternoon they have to pick up the car. it's quite consuming to have a very simple task done. And as in many other industries, as we see today, people, they want convenience. They want to have an easy life, regardless whether they are buying groceries, meal kits, or whatever they want to consume. They wanted to have it done in a convenient way. And it's not convenient, as you can see, if you look at the customer journey for having a car service done. You need to call the workshop, you need to book a time, you need to wait for the call back, you have to drive to the workshop, it's probably half an hour spent on that. And it's always, of course, in the morning where you face rush hour. You would either have to wait at the workshop to have your car serviced or repaired, or you have to have a loan car. Then you need to get back in the afternoon to have your car back, or wait for next day, and then you need to drive home. It's a lot of time spent. In average, you spend around 2 hours. The OmniCar way is completely opposite. Our customer journey takes around 17 minutes. You enter our website, where we have done some very comprehensive IT solutions, so you can actually instantly book your service. You can get instant quote based on your license plate. And when you have done that, you basically just choose a day for your service, and you have your price quoted, and you will basically just see that and experience that a few days after, our service van will come to your house to service your car. So the only thing you have to do is have your to make the key handover and a short briefing. So no pickup, no inconvenience at all. And what we have seen, and I think one of the reasons for our extremely high customer satisfaction is, of course, not that of course, our mechanics, they are qualified and they do a great work when they repair and service the cars, but the convenience they feel adds so much value that we have seen all these high ratings. In fact, we only have 11 ratings out of a few thousand ratings that are below 4 stars. So we really have this extremely high customer satisfaction rating, which we are extremely proud of course. As I said before, we have spent a lot of time to develop our IT systems. My background is IT, and I know how important IT is in order for you to scale a company. So basically, we have IT that punch above our weights for more than a decade of growth. We have the most comprehensive real-time offering. Even Merconomen, who recently bought 20% of the company, they are impressed with this. They have not seen anything like this in Europe. We have a comprehensive CRM system. We have automated geo-planning tools. We have the automating part ordering systems. So everything is integrated together. And in that way, we actually are able to present KPI numbers in terms of manpower that are double as good as what we see in the industry. So in that sense, we are very fortunate with all the IT we have invested in. As you can also see, the unit economy is extremely attractive. Today, we have average of 18 working days for a van. In average, we can solve 90 jobs. In average, we have a average turnover per job at around 3,400. That gives a monthly turnover of around 300,000, and net profit after all salaries are around 95,000 Swedish krona. But this is not even, we have not even unleashed all the potential we have yet, because when we use the van for all 30 days at a month, we can actually manage 240 jobs per month. So that will give a completely different kind of profitability. In total, we have right now 15 vans, and we will add 5 more vans during Q4 in 2022. And in 2024, we aim for 75 vans in total. So what we're seeing right now is that the number of vans we have in Denmark is not even close to the demand. So 75 vans may sound of a lot, but having in mind that we have around 3 million cars on the roads alone in Denmark, and we are not even talking about Sweden yet. So it's a huge, huge market. Mikkel?
Yeah, thank you, Claus, for covering the service part. If we need to achieve our mission on being the convenient car partner for life, it's important that we not only cover the service part, but we're also covering the part where a customer needs to buy or sell the car. And therefore, we have introduced a new platform, OmniCar Sale, where we are selling electrified vehicles purely online. And this basically makes the ecosystem in our whole offering to the end customers. So what we do is that we, in May this year, launched our online sales portal. We are selling only pre-owned electrified vehicles, and we are doing it together with all the add-ons which you should think of included when you are in the market for a new car. So that could be a finance, that could be insurance, that could be the charging infrastructure, where we are basically managing to go out and install the charging infrastructure. And of course, it will be the service and repair contract to the vehicle provided by our service business. We do everything completely online on OmniCar Sales DK. The cars is sourced from different partners around Europe, mainly rental companies, etc. So it's newer cars coming into our portal, and then we're sending it to the cars there. So the customer is buying completely online, and they're taking delivery of the car in front of their doorstep, where they have the possibility to return it within 14 days if the car is not fitting to their needs. So why did we decide only to focus on electric vehicles? Well, in Scandinavia and in Denmark, electric vehicles is super popular. We see currently that 35% of all new cars in Denmark this year is electrified. We also see there's a waiting time of more than 1 year to receive your new vehicles. And then, of course, because this is a new thing to the market, we see that there's a lot of new customers buying their electric vehicles for the first time. This often puts up a lot of questions: which charging infrastructure should I choose? Is the range good enough for my need, etc., etc.? And all these questions will be answered in the flow when you purchase a car from us, so we can basically make sure that what we're offering the customer is exactly what they are in the market for and what they need to fulfill their needs. Then, of course, we believe that this is a market which only will grow from here, and we want to take the unique position of being the only online provider of green cars in Denmark. It's important to mention that buying a car online in Denmark is absolutely not common in Denmark. We are one of 3 providers in Denmark selling vehicles online, and we are the only one only selling green vehicles online.
Yeah, if you look at the car purchase process when buying a car today in Denmark, initially, an average consumer spent around 15 to 20 hours online researching for a car. So when he has completed that research, the traditional journey is that he will go down to a dealer and visit the dealer. And then at the dealer's location, the consumer will finish the customer journey. And that, of course, involves a test drive, add-on sales, trading pricing, financing, waiting for the credit approval, etc. In the OmniCar journey, we do everything online. So basically, you cannot test drive the car at our place, but we have spent a lot of resources in advising people what they need when they buy an electrical car. How do we manage the charging infrastructure? How long can I drive on a battery? how do I get the most attractive insurance? How do I get the most attractive financing exactly based on my needs? So our purchasing flow consists of all these factors. And that is something that makes us able to sell cars online. Having in mind that 99% of all cars in Denmark are bought at a dealer site. But what we are seeing now is that more and more people are turning online. And that is the reason why we have decided to do it the way we have done. Another very interesting thing here, and you can see it on this slide, is when we sell cars, the actual profit margin on the car sale is only around 20 to 25% of the total margin we make on the car. Because all the extra equipment, the trading car, the financing, the charging infrastructure, the insurance, and the service that are provided from OmniCar service adds a lot to the margin. So that is actually some of the things that differentiate us from a lot of the other online car retailers that you have seen around the world. Even Carvana, as I'm sure you all know, Cazoo in England, they do this. But we have the entire customer journey fitted into our purchasing process. And that is what and how we manage to have such a high average margin per sold car as we have today, only after being in the business for 4 months. And that is why we say 1 + 1, OmniCar service, OmniCar sales, doesn't add up to 2, it actually adds up to 3, because we have a full concept of customer ownership. We own the entire process from car purchase to car service. An average, and I would say that an average car owner will use our services 3 to 4 times annually. First, they need an annual service. Then they need to change their tires for winter tires back to summer tires. They need the annual aircon service and vice versa. So we have a firm hold in the customer when we offer our mobile services. The market for car service in Denmark alone is a huge market, 22 billion Swedish kroner. If we can just capture 1.2% of that market share, that will leave us with an annual revenue of 260 million Swedish kroner. The used car sales market is also booming. What we see in Europe right now is very interesting, because the shortage of the cars makes the average life cycle for a car to be extended with a few years. So instead of the average lifespan for a car is 6 years, it's now 8 years. So the year from 6 to 8, of course, increases the needs for repair and service, which benefits us. And then the shortage of e-cars makes it even more attractive to buy a used e-car. And we, with our sourcing opportunities, are able to meet that demand. So we are very fortunate about that, of course. In total, in 2024, we have a target of selling 5,000 cars annually, and as I said before, 75 service vans by the end of 2024. Mikkel?
Yeah, this slide shows you the journey we basically have been on until now, and as you can see, we have managed to grow our business by between 10 to 20% from quarter to quarter. Of course, in Q2 this year, we had a huge jump introducing the OmniCar sales. But even after the introduction, we still will grow the turnover between 10 and 20% for the quarters to come. If we are summing this presentation up, I want to just highlight the key achievements which we have done so far this year. We have serviced more than 8,500 vehicles. We are rated as the best workshop in Denmark based on more than 2,000 ratings. we see that approximately 42% of our customers in the service business is coming back. And this is quite impressive, having in mind that we are every month adding so many new customers to our customer database. Then, as Claus mentioned, we have the state-of-the-art IT platform have been launched. We have now a national-wide coverage throughout the country. We, earlier this year, welcomed Mekonomen as a 20% owner of the company. And just as information, Mekonomen is having approximately 4,000 workshops across the Scandinavian market. So they are a huge player, and it's very keen to see where we are going. We see that the customer acquisition cost for our sold vehicles is less than 500 Danish krone, which is the same as $80 US. We see the margin on the cars we have sold so far is above the industry levels we see in other online car deals. And we have invested 2.5 million in this whole IT infrastructure, and of course in new employees, which have made it possible to reach these growth numbers. Good. I believe this sums everything up. Here's our details, our investor page, etc.
Thanks for that presentation. Maybe a good start-off question is, is there anybody else providing remote service for electric cars in Denmark currently?
No, nobody is doing it.
Just it's not only electrical cars we are servicing. We are servicing all cars on the market right now. So petrol cars, gas-driven cars, e-cars as well. So in terms of the service business, we service all kind of cars,
okay.
Even vans. Yeah.
What are some of the challenges you face, kind of servicing vehicles at a person's home? Given some of the extreme temperatures during the time.
Yeah, well, initially we had a lot of thoughts about the Danish weather is not like sunny California. It's more or less rainy and foggy the whole year round. So some of the days I come to the office and I ask the mechanics, so how did you manage to do all that work today? It's been pouring down with rain. And his answer, has it been raining today? They are not really aware of it. They have the right clothes on, and we have the right tools available for working on the roads. So it's not really an issue. The first mechanics we hired was racing mechanics who was used to fix cars in the pit. So we have basically taken that kind of mentality and deployed that throughout all the mechanics, and that's part of our starter flow when they enter the company. So it's not really an issue.
And then of course it's important to mention that what we do is mainly maintenance jobs. So we're doing an average 5 jobs per day. So we're not standing still and do a long repair at a single customer.
Yeah, that was another question that we had. Like, what percentage is preventative kind of care versus reacting to an issue with a vehicle?
Yeah, I would say 80% is maintenance, and 20% is repairs. Yeah.
Okay. What percentage of servicing can be done at someone's home versus it's a significant enough issue that you have to take it to a workshop, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah. So, and that's of course a very good question. What we see is that we're maybe covering 65% of all possible jobs we can cover with our mobile service vans. But we also see that these 65% is covering at least 90% of the times you need to have a repair. So maintenance is filling a lot more than a repair on a transmission, etc., etc. In case we need to do a transmission we have a normal workshop where we're taking in the car and do the job simply in order to keep the customer in our fence, let's say.
I'm just looking through the questions. Do you plan on expanding the business to install in-home charging stations?
We are doing that, but we're doing it with a external provider. So when you are purchasing your car online and you're selecting and purchasing the charging infrastructure with us, we are ordering an external partner to go out to your home or your garage and install the charging infrastructure. That's part of the deal.
I know that a lot more EV OEMs are expanding kind of into the Nordic area, and a lot of them don't have servicing infrastructure to be able to sell even new cars into your area. Is there an opportunity to work directly with OEM kind of electric vehicle companies to do the servicing for them?
Yeah, I mean, currently we're seeing a lot of Chinese OEMs coming into the market, but also from the States. And of course, when a new OEM come into the market, they don't have the network which is needed to service all the cars. If you go out to a normal workshop provider, they need to do a huge investment in order to fulfill the standards. So of course, clearly here is some advantage to choosing mobile service providers, and it's also no secret that we are in dialogue with OEMs about this offering.
There's sort of there is a negative connotation about kind of selling cars, especially here in the US because of some of the trials and tribulations with Carvana and some of the other players in that market. People that have spent billions of dollars to lose billions of dollars. How do you set yourself apart in this environment, when you're selling used cars?
I think, it's important to understand that we, as Mikkel explained, take care of the entire purchase cycle. So we sell cars, we service cars, we sell cars, we service cars. So when we look at the profit margin, as I also explained, the actual margin on the car sold is insignificant compared to the margin that we get on all the extra add-ons. So that is one thing. The second thing is that we have chosen to focus only on e-cars. And e-cars is extremely attractive, and it will be even more attractive for the years to come. So in our mindset, it's important to get a footprint in the market right now, as it is with our mobile services. So we can get these first mover effect that will be able to generate growth in the years to come. So we are well aware of the small margins that are being introduced on Cazoo and Carvana. And that is why, if you look at our margin, it's almost like 5 to 6 times higher than those margins that they are having right now. So we don't see that as an issue. On the contrary, we see it as a great benefit to our service business that we have created our own ecosystem so that can feed each other. So in that sense, I think it's great.
In Denmark, what is the average? What's maintenance look like over there? Here in the US, you need to get your car inspected. It used to be, well, it still is once every year. And, I'm curious, what's that type of maintenance like in Denmark or other Nordic countries?
Yeah, it's more or less the same. Of course, the weather is a little bit more rough in Denmark, so there's maybe a slightly more need for service in our part of the world. And on top of that, you need to have your tire replaced at the end of this winter and summer season. And mostly you also need to have your aircon service done because it's being used so heavily during the summer and so heavily during the winter as well. So I think in that sense, it's, as I said before, it's an average 4 times a year event that you need to go to the workshop.
Okay.
And again, having your tire replaced is an operation that takes around 10 minutes. And if you need to drive to the workshop to have that done, it can at least take an hour or 2. when we come out to the consumer, it takes 10 minutes. So they give us the keys, we change the tires and leave after 10 minutes. And by the way, we take the old tires with us and store them for the next replacement. So again, convenience, we make it easy to be a car owner, which is our whole vision.
Can you elaborate a bit on your relationship with Mekonomen, how that transpired and exactly, who they are, in that your area?
I can do that because when we, as I said in my introduction, when I saw the interview with Peterson from Wrench, the day after I got in contact with the CEO of Mekonomen and told him about this idea. And he was extremely excited about it and said, well, Claus, there's no discussion that mobile services will be a part of the future. The only question is it going to be 30, 40, or 50% of the market? But it's going to be a part of the future. And we will do everything in our power to help you get this business rolling. So he put me in contact with a spare part provider they owned. And this spare part provider gave us some extremely great business terms. And we set up a cooperation and had sort of a hand-in-hand relationships for the first 1.5 years. And then we discussed how we could even strengthen our relationships. And I think that was a natural way of doing it by offering them a part of the business. So we have a very, very tight and great relationships with Mekonomen. And I think when we move into the Scandinavian market, where they have around 4,000 workshops, as Mikkel said, it will be a great benefit to us because they have so much knowledge about the whole market. How will the transition be from the petrol cars to electrical cars? What will it mean to the workshops that they no longer need to do oil change and they need to do a battery change? How will that impact the industry and so forth? So we have a lot of knowledge there that will help us fast track our growth as well.
Yeah, I was curious if there's any plans or anticipate collaborating with them. Because I know they have a broad reach. I believe when we looked into it, they were providing you parts, for your vans. They've been helpful in that regard as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They have also helped us with leasing. We are leasing all the tools that we are getting for the vans from Mekonomen as well. So they are a very great business partner. We have a great relationships with them.
We also know that Mekonomen have made an agreement with Fisker Automotive in order to become the service provider of whole of Scandinavian. And of course, that could be a possible cooperation in the future.
Yeah, so on the servicing side, it's mainly right now direct to consumer. Folks finding out about you and then reaching out through the website or the app. But it seems like there's also, kind of a B2B, business to business opportunity for the servicing side as well. Can you talk a little bit about that and how you see that the servicing side evolve over the next 3 years?
Yeah, there's no doubt that the business part will develop rapidly over the next few years. We have a lot of, as Mikkel explained, OEMs who are approaching us. There's a lot of corporations that are approaching us to hear how we can make a relationship where we can service fleets, car fleets, and we can service employees' cars at their parking lot. So there's a lot of opportunities, and right now we are almost daily signing up new companies where we can help them service their employees' cars and their own fleets. So that part of the business will develop over the coming years as well. And we have some very interesting cooperations lined up, and we will announce them during the next 30 days.
One last question, it might be the most important one. When do you expect to make money?
Well, we have when we launched this business 2 years ago, we had some ambitious goals, and we have more or less announced every goal. Also, if there has been deviation to the goals, we have been very transparent, and every quarter, every year, we have been able to meet the goals that we have set. The goal for profitability is the third quarter of 2023.